Transformation of Liverpool under the command of Arne Slot. After Jürgen Klopp's departure, the Dutch coach has led the Reds to dominate both the Premier League and the Champions League. But how has Slot managed to maintain and evolve Klopp's legacy? Arne Slot is succeeding in his first months at Liverpool, and Alexis Mac Allister highlighted the differences with Jürgen Klopp's era. Additionally, we will analyze the data that reflects the impact of this change. Less chaos, more control, and a team that continues to set the pace in Europe. Liverpool is having an impressive start to the season, and Arne Slot's ideas seem to have fit perfectly with the squad after Jürgen Klopp's departure. Now, one of the most important players in the Reds squad, Alexis Mac Allister, has come forward to talk about the changes that have occurred since the arrival of the new coach. Jürgen Klopp bid farewell to Liverpool, leaving an immense legacy, and it was expected that the impact of the coaching change would be enormous. However, Arne Slot has managed the transition well, and the Reds are so far the best team in the Premier League and the Champions League. In an interview with the newspaper AS, Alexis Mac Allister explained the differences between the two coaches and how the transition has been for the team in these first months of the cycle, with the Dutch coach at the helm. What has changed with Slot at Liverpool after Klopp's departure? Mac Allister has highlighted that Arne Slot has taken on much of the work done by his predecessor. We were coming from a long process with Jürgen Klopp, where the main ideas were already established. Basically, Arne Slot hasn't come to change everything, but to add his methodology to what we were already working on. The biggest difference, or what we have added, has been the patience when we have the ball. That is the biggest difference at this moment. Now, we have the ball more, which allows us to create more goal-scoring opportunities. The team feels very comfortable and is doing very well, as seen against Real Madrid in the Champions League and against Manchester City in the Premier. That gives you more confidence and shows us that we can compete against any team, added the Argentine. In another conversation with former footballer Gary Lineker, he tactically compared both coaches, and one of the differences he highlighted was in possession. In Slot's scheme, it's about finding the open man or space and trying to attack in a less aggressive way. On the other hand, regarding the defensive aspect, he said that both approaches are very similar. He also said, "It depends on the other team, so we change the pressure a lot in relation to the opponent. We have different patterns and movements to understand where the spaces are and try to exploit them, and I think we are still acquiring the idea," affirmed the Argentine, referring to ball possession, versatility in positions. Mac Allister also spoke about his change of position in the team. Last season he played as a central midfielder, and now he is a double pivot, or sometimes positions himself as an 8 or 10. Sometimes we have the freedom to do what we want, because other times it's about staying in your position or finding spaces and that kind of thing. We have good midfielders, and you have to give them that freedom, which feels very good, because you can have that connection, those short passes between us, and we like that. If you're passionate about soccer and love staying updated on everything happening with transfers, the latest news, and tactical analyses of Arne Slot and Jürgen Klopp, subscribe to our channel to stay informed about everything going on in the beautiful game. Tactical differences between Arne Slot and Jürgen Klopp at Liverpool. The arrival of Arne Slot to the Liverpool bench has initiated a new era characterized by significant adjustments in the playing style. Although both Slot and his predecessor, Jürgen Klopp, share a philosophy based on offensive play and high pressing, the tactical nuances between them are significant and reflect the different priorities and approaches of each coach. Both coaches are known for implementing high-pressure systems, but the intensity and the way they execute it vary. Klopp was known for his dizzying approach, which required constant physical effort to suffocate the opponent and force errors. In contrast, Slot has adopted a more calculated approach, preferring to identify key moments to press, rather than maintaining incessant pressure throughout the entire match. This has allowed the team to conserve energy and be more effective in the critical phases of the game. Klopp frequently used a line of 3 forwards to lead the press, with the wingers closing spaces towards the center, and the central forward harassing the ball carrier. This approach required constant defensive sacrifice from the wingers and a defensive line prepared to cover spaces behind them. Slot, on the other hand, has modified the structure by employing a line of 2 forwards in the first line of pressure, which provides greater compactness in the intermediate lines and facilitates defensive transitions. This variation not only improves defensive organization, but also allows for better control in midfield. Ball possession is a fundamental aspect in Slot's approach. His philosophy prioritizes maintaining possession as a means to control the pace of the game and destabilize the opponent through quick combinations and precise passes. Under Klopp, the emphasis was more on quick transitions, where players exploited the spaces left by the opponent after regaining possession of the ball. The characteristic gegenpressing of the German aimed to recover the ball immediately after a loss, with the goal of launching direct attacks and surprising the opponent in their disorganization. Game rhythm. Klopp's style at Liverpool was explosive, with a frantic pace designed to suffocate the opponent, both physically and mentally. This approach, although effective, was demanding in terms of energy and required players with exceptional physical endurance. On the other hand, Slot has implemented a more measured and methodical approach. His team patiently looks for spaces, circulating the ball with precision and waiting for the right moment to break through the defensive lines. This controlled pace allows the team to reduce risks and better manage the game's timing, especially in matches where prolonged possession is crucial. Other key aspects: adaptability and player roles. While Klopp used to be more rigid in his base system, 4-3-3, Slot has shown greater tactical flexibility, adapting his scheme according to the opponent and the circumstances of the match. His ability to alternate between different systems, such as 4-2-3-1 or 4-4-2, has added versatility to the team and allowed for better use of his players' individual qualities. In defense, Klopp relied on a high block that depended on the speed and anticipation of his center backs to cover the spaces behind them. Slot, on the other hand, prioritizes a more compact and organized defense, reducing the spaces between lines and minimizing the opponent's counterattack opportunities. In attack, the wingers under Klopp were essential for generating width and depth, while Slot has incorporated a more front-court game, using midfielders as creative pivots to break lines and create superiorities. Increase in ball possession. According to StatsBomb data, Klopp had an average possession of 61% in 58 matches during the 23-24 season, while Arne Slot has already raised that figure to 65% in just 16 matches this season, indicating that this figure will likely increase with the number of matches. Reduction in high pressing. On the other hand, Jürgen Klopp's high pressing has always been recognized in European football as one of the most intense and difficult to overcome. According to Opta, in the 22-23 season, Klopp's Liverpool averaged 10.1 high pressures, pressing actions in the opponent's first 40 meters, while with Arne Slot, they now average 7.5. This indicates a reduction in the intention to go and steal the ball in the opponent's field, and to adopt a more prudent model when pressing. Expected goals, XG. Regarding expected goals, XG, Liverpool has improved slightly compared to last year, where under Klopp, they had an average XG of 1.9 per match, while now under Slot, this number has risen to 2.1, thus demonstrating a more optimized approach to goal opportunities and improving the quality of each attack. Better regulation in the physical aspect. These numbers show that Arne Slot seeks to control the games more and prevent chaos from prevailing, as he did with Klopp. Moreover, the quality of direct attacks, albeit only by 0.2, improved compared to last year. Slot has managed to give Liverpool better scoring opportunities while simultaneously reducing the number of high presses, which prevents his players from wearing themselves out as much during the 90 minutes of the match. The transition from Klopp to Slot at Liverpool does not represent a radical change, but rather an evolution that reflects modern football trends. While both coaches share similar principles, the differences in intensity, structure, and tactical approach have resulted in a renewed Liverpool, which maintains its competitiveness while adapting to a more methodical and balanced style. This evolution presents an interesting challenge for the team, which seeks to combine the best of both worlds to remain a key player in the main competitions, and which today has the Reds leading the English Premier League and the Champions League. Now we want to hear your opinion. Do you think Slot's more methodical style is the key to making Liverpool even more dominant? Or do you miss Klopp's high-intensity gegenpressing? Leave your comments or suggestions below. We want to read your perspective.